J-Dubb here. So, the other day, I don't remember how it came up in something I was reading or a conversation, but the term millennials came up, and it got me thinking, what exactly is a millennial? I mean, the term's only been in common use for a couple years now. I mean, what are they? Are they kids? Are they teenagers? Are they young adults? So I did some Googling. One of the first things I found was a video of a guy in his mid-20s who apparently speaks and writes about millennials, who, according to the data he has, defines millennials as beginning with people born in the year 1975. Wait a minute, that would make me a millennial! No! That's not true! That's impossible!
Search your feelings. You know this to be true.
No. No, not really.
Why is your hand hidden inside your sleeve?
Yeah, I don't know. I found that it actually kind of bothered me. I've identified as Generation X my entire life. When I was a teenager, the term Generation X was synonymous with the term teenager. So I thought, so this guy has some data from wherever. What does this kid know about my age group? I'm from the MTV generation, not the Pokemon generation. I mean, really, what the hell is that supposed to be anyway? I didn't grow up watching anime, except for Voltron and Robotech. But we didn't know that was called anime, or that it came from Japan. We just knew that their mouths looked funny when they talked. When I grew up, most people did not have a personal computer in their home. We had a typing class where people learned to type on typewriters, and the internet was some computery thing that nerds used to talk about Star Trek. The only kid in high school who had a cell phone was Zach Morris, and it was the size of a block of Tillamook cheddar. Not a part of the Tommy Westphall universe, by the way. Our anthem is Smells Like Teen Spirit. We wore flannel and work boots and backwards ball caps. The Simpsons was still a fresh TV show, and on that note, the term fresh was also synonymous with the term cool, as in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Also not a part of the Tommy Westphall universe. But I did some more Googling and found that most sources actually put the beginning of millennials somewhere from 82 to 84, which puts the beginning of millennials just slightly after my time. A couple years. But then I also ran into the term Generation Cusper, somebody who's sort of in between two generations, you know. So I looked up the term Generation Cusper and found a BuzzFeed article, 22 signs you're stuck between Generation X and millennials. Because, you know, everything on BuzzFeed has to be a numbered list of some sort, because apparently that's what drives in the advertising revenue. You were born between 1975 and 1982. I was not born in the 70s, by the way. That gives you 2 years to go on, and that's the closest that I'm gonna go. You don't identify as being either Gen X or Gen Y, but when pressed, you'd rather be seen as a Gen Xer. That's pretty much what this video was about. You feel like your identity is slightly mixed up, like millennials are the bubbly, naive side of you, and Gen X is the cynical, pessimistic side. You're a Nirvana fan, but you weren't old enough to go to a show, or your parents wouldn't let you. Yeah, pretty much. You can't name more than 3 90s Nickelodeon shows. You can't do that on television. I think Double Dare. Double Dare was one. I remember some cartoon with rats or something. You have no idea who Lizzie McGuire is. I do, but I'm not in the age group that would have actually watched the show. Gen X had the electric company, Gen Y had all that, but you can't do that on television. Yes, high five my age group. Nobody on the planet knows what you can't do that on television is, except for people who are my age. You got your first email address in college. Well, junior or senior year of high school, actually. But filled out your college applications on a typewriter. So I actually went into the Air Force after high school. I'm not sure what I would have filled out college applications on had it been right after high school and not 4 years later. Whenever time has done one of these huge generation pieces, you never feel as though they're talking about you. I'm not familiar with either one of these articles, but I definitely don't identify with the urge to wear yellow pants. And you didn't get a cell phone until you were at least 22. Meanwhile, your little sister had already had one awkward sentence, for a couple years. 21 actually, and I don't have a little sister. You watched The Voyage of the Mimi as a kid. Okay, I have no idea what that is. You saw Reality Bites and were sure that was what your early 20s was going to be like. I didn't see Reality Bites, but I do like Winona Ryder's hair in that picture. And then it totally was. Yeah, so I don't have anything to gauge that comment by. You actually drank Orbits and Zima a couple times. It wasn't something I enjoyed drinking on a regular basis. You were, and maybe still are, into New Kids on the Block. Oh, 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 the right stuff. I need to find the right key. You feel torn between valuing the old and completely embracing the new. Yeah. But for all the things that make you feel confused and generationless, you realize that you can kind of pick the best of both worlds. That's right. So with that, I would say I am a Generation Cusper, and if you're my age, so are you. J-Dubb out. What do your favorite non-reality television programs have in common? They are all figments of the imagination of an autistic boy named Tommy Westfall. Okay, so let's back up a bit. There is